The story begins in a place where time seems to have stopped, a desolate field of rusted metal and shattered dreams. The once proud structures, now twisted beyond recognition, cast long shadows over the battle-scarred earth. The air is thick with the metallic scent of blood and burnt circuitry. It's a tableau of a world long abandoned to the ravages of war, a silent testament to battles waged and lost in the distance. The unmistakable sound of bolter fire echoes, a rhythmic heartbeat that quickens the pulse of any who hear it. A solitary figure emerges from the gloom, his power armor a stark blue in stark contrast to the lifeless grays that dominate the landscape. His eyes, cold and determined, scan the horizon. He is an ultramarine, a son of the Emperor, and this is his battleground. The warrior of Makridge, Captain Caius, advances steadily through the wreckage, his footsteps heavy with purpose. His mission is clear, his resolve unshakable. He carries the weight of his legion's legacy and the fate of untold worlds on his broad shoulders. The heretic, the mutant, and the alien, they are the scourges that have brought him here, to this desolate place. As the sound of battle grows louder, Caius feels a familiar warmth in his chest, the pulse of the warp, the lifeblood of chaos. It's a feeling he's learned to loathe and fear. He knows that the longer he takes, the stronger the enemy becomes. He must end this now, before the corruption spreads further. Ahead, he sees the silhouette of the heretic, a twisted mass of flesh and machine, standing atop the skeletal remains of a once mighty land raider. The traitor's power armor is a disfigured mockery of the Astartes' sacred panoply, adorned with blasphemous runes that seem to pulse with malevolent energy. The alien, an Eldar, emerges from the shadows, its lithe form moving with a grace that belies its deadly intent. The mutant, a monstrosity born of the warp's dark whispers, slithers into view, its multiple limbs ending in cruel talons that dig into the metal beneath it. Each step it takes sends tremors through the very ground. The three stand united in their perversion of the Emperor's will, their eyes burning with the fires of chaos. Caius feels a surge of anger, a righteous fury that fuels his every step. He charges forward, his bolter roaring in a symphony of death. The heretic raises a twisted power fist, crackling with warp energy, and hurls it towards him. Caius leaps aside, the air around him briefly distorting with the force of the blow. The alien and the creature exchange a knowing look, a silent communication that sends chills down the captain's spine. The battle is swift and brutal. Caius's blade, exemplar of the Ultramarines, sings as it cleaves through the mutant's flesh, each strike a declaration of the Emperor's wrath. The creature screeches in pain, its unnatural limbs flailing wildly. The Eldar, ever the predator, darts in and out of the fray, its shurikens leaving a trail of sparks as they ricochet off Caius's armor. The heretic, a cunning beast, hangs back, watching the dance of death, waiting for an opening. The ground trembles as the mutant lunges again, but Caius is ready. He sidesteps with the grace of a warrior trained by the finest tutors on Makridge, bringing his sword down in a clean arc that severs one of the creature's limbs. It howls in pain, but the sound is cut short as a bolt round from Caius's bolter pierces its skull, silencing it forever. The creature collapses into a heap of twitching flesh. The heretic, enraged by the loss of its ally, charges at Caius with the speed of a demon. The captain stands his ground, his bolter now a blur as he empties its magazine into the heretic's chest. The traitorous Astartes stumbles back, armor buckling under the relentless onslaught. With a roar that echoes across the battlefield, Caius leaps, bringing his sword down in a two-handed strike that cleaves through the heretic's power fist and into its torso. The heretic falls to one knee, its body smoking and armor in ruins. Caius raises exemplar high, ready to deliver the final blow. But the Eldar, unnoticed in the chaos, has closed the distance. Its shimmering blade arcs through the air, aimed at the captain's unprotected neck. In a flash of instinct, Caius swings his sword in an uppercut, catching the alien's weapon and sending it spinning away. Their gazes lock, the Astartes and the Xenos warrior, each a master of their craft. The Eldar is unflinching, its eyes filled with the cold light of the stars. Caius can almost hear the whispers of the ancients, the secrets of the webway, the echoes of battles long past. For a brief moment, the two are frozen, the fate of worlds hanging in the balance. Caius feels a strange kinship with his alien adversary, a mutual respect that pierces through the veil of hatred and duty. They are both the elite, the chosen, the survivors of countless battles. Yet, their paths are etched in the fabric of the galaxy as opposites, forever destined to clash in the grim dark of the far future. The Eldar, with surprising speed, darts to the side, its blade weaving a deadly dance as it searches for an opening. Caius matches its grace with the unyielding strength of his own kind. His bolter now silent, but his sword a constant threat. Each parry and riposte is a silent conversation, a deadly waltz of steel and power. The air crackles with the energy of their clashing weapons, the very fabric of reality straining under the weight of their fury. Amidst the whirlwind of combat, Caius sees an opportunity. He feints a strike to the left, then hammers down with all his might from the right. The Eldar's blade meets Exemplar in a shower of sparks, but Caius's strength prevails. The Xenos' sword shatters under the impact, leaving it momentarily defenseless. In a swift, decisive motion, the Ultramarine captain thrusts his sword through the alien's chest, the blade piercing its black heart. The Eldar's eyes widen in surprise before they glaze over, the light within them fading into oblivion. Caius withdraws his sword, and the alien warrior crumples to the ground. For a moment, there's only silence, the echo of clashing steel dissipating into the cold void of the battlefield. The heretic, though grievously wounded, laughs through the pain. Its mechanical voice, a distorted echo of its former self, taunts Caius. You think you've won? The great rift will consume all. The Emperor's light will fade. Caius's eyes narrow, his fury now a white-hot flame. He stomps towards the heretic, his armored boots pounding the metal beneath. You will not speak his name in such blasphemy? He roars, raising his sword for the final blow. But the heretic, driven by the dark power of the warp, refuses to die easily. With a grunt, it pulls itself upright, its one remaining hand reaching for a grenade at its belt. Caius sees the move, and his mind races through the millennia of combat doctrine drilled into his very being. He knows the explosion would be cataclysmic, a tide of shrapnel that would consume everything within a dozen meters. Without hesitation, Caius hurls his sword like a javelin. It slices through the air, a gleaming streak of blue light, and lodges itself into the heretic's neck, cutting off its blasphemous words. The creature's lifeblood spurts out, painting the rusted metal beneath it a fresh, vibrant crimson. The grenade falls from its lifeless grip, its fuse sparking ominously. The world seems to slow around Caius as he sprints away from the impending doom. His enhanced Astartes physique propels him through the wreckage, the explosion's shockwave at his heels. He feels the heat of the blast, a searing embrace that threatens to consume him, but the warp's power surges through the heretic's corpse, defying the laws of physics. The explosion is contained, the energy channeled into the warp, leaving only a muffled thud that shakes the ground. The battlefield is bathed in an eerie silence once more, the only sound the distant hum of the dying embers. The heretic's body is gone, replaced by a smoldering crater that stains the earth. Caius retrieves his sword, the once gleaming blade now marred by the heretic's foul blood. He stands, panting heavily, his armor scarred and battered. The warrior looks around, the reality of his victory sinking in. The alliance between the heretic and the Xenos was a clear sign of the chaos that had gripped this place. But the Ultramarine's resolve remains unshaken. He whispers a prayer to the Emperor, vowing to purge the galaxy of such abominations. The war is far from over, but today, a bastion of hope remains untouched as he turns to leave. Caius notices something glinting in the dirt. It's the Eldar's shattered sword, a symbol of their brief, fierce encounter. He ponders the alien's final moments, the respect that had flashed in its eyes. Despite their differences, they had both fought for what they believed in, bound by a shared fate of endless conflict. He takes the shard as a trophy, a reminder that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, valor can be found. The captain's thoughts are interrupted by a flicker in the corner of his vision. He spins, bolter at the ready, expecting another enemy to emerge from the shadows. But instead, he sees a figure, cloaked in robes, watching him from a distance. The figure is human, but not quite. There's an otherworldly aura surrounding it. It raises a hand in a silent salute before vanishing into the gloom. Caius knows the signs of the Inquisition, and a cold realization sets in. His mission has just become more complicated. The Inquisitor's appearance marks the start of a new chapter in this unending saga. The warp's whispers grow louder, hinting at secrets and machinations beyond the captain's understanding. The battle against the heretic and the alien was but a skirmish in a grander war. Caius feels the weight of his duty pressed down upon.